What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come talk some Phillies baseball with us. Let's go.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
What
the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Welcome in, everybody. I have no voice, and this is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio, and we were brought to you by Royal Billiard. Listen, you got to go check them out. They're the premier game room store in the Delaware Valley. They're stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboard, card tables, dart supplies, bars, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs, too? Go check out Royal Billiard, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. You can also go check out the live show, Vetted, with Hollis Thomas and Irvin Fryer tomorrow night at Royal Billiard, right in Colmar, Pennsylvania, 515 Bethlehem Pike, and you can go watch the live broadcast from there. I know the Phillies are on, too. I'm sure there's going to be TVs going. You got to go check them out. They're also having an hour after party, and like I said a million times, Hollis, guy will sign your forehead. Signs everything. Same with Irv. They're the best. They're so personable. You'll love them, I promise you. And if you can't make it out, we're going to have more. All right, just the beginning. We're missing a few gentlemen tonight. No Ryan Brodo, no Ralph Delvecchio, no Frank Vespi. Here we are, though. Michael Chromiak, Noah Eaton, who we took 15 minutes to get his camera right. Greg Milakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody, welcome in. We will preview NLCS Game 3 coming up tomorrow. Not tomorrow night, tomorrow evening, because we'll get into that. Okay? We'll get into that. We'll review a little bit of Game 2 and Game 1, and we'll talk about everything that's happened so far in this series and this playoff run for the Philadelphia Phillies. But it all ties in to our poll question, and that is brought to you by Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches cut with meatballs. You mentioned A2D Radio. You get 10% off your order. Go check out Baggio's Bread. Our poll for this evening. This is evening. This is nighttime, I should say. That's why it's A2D Wednesday night. It's not 5:07 game. Okay, grow up. 5:07. What are we doing? 5:07. We're the premier team left going. All right, we're the moneymaker. You're playing us at rush hour. You morons. Like, and then you're playing it West. It's not even West Coast. They're 3:00, right? Isn't Arizona? Like, they do it weird. Are they 3 hours behind too? I feel like it shifts at one point and they're 2. Isn't it? Doesn't it shift at one point in the year?
This time of the year, they're 3. Though.
Yeah, they're 3. Okay. Well, we're playing 2:00 game.
Yep.
Playing 2:00 game. That's why you got $7 tickets, you morons. Can baseball just get out of their way? Play it all night. Goodness gracious. Plays at 9. Who cares? We're going to watch. All right. Our poll. The Phillies will end the NLCS in Arizona, which they're going to Arizona. They start tomorrow night. 3 games in Arizona. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, turn your alerts on, stay with us, comment in. I already see Greg Miller flying in. Chiquita, hey Chiquita, Colin, Pove, Eddie. Keep the comments coming. What do you think? All right, and I know everybody's going to agree that it ends there, right? I'm probably going to fall to that side after I argue against myself for a second, right? You know, I thought 7, and I did that a lot because, like, when I get overconfident, things don't age well. So I try to stay like in the middle, right? I try not to get too high, too low. Well, I do at times. We know this, but at the end of the day, I had it 7. I obviously don't think it's going 7 now, right? I'd be an idiot to think so. But this is also baseball, right? And you're also going to a place that you haven't really played well in. Like over the course of the last 4 years, I don't know what the record is. I haven't played there. Now, the other side of it, this team's different in the postseason. They raised it a level. I've never seen a team just raise to the level like they have in 2 postseasons. Last year, didn't finish the way we wanted to, right? But I think we've learned from that experience, right? You talk about Game 3 against Houston last year in Philly, and we like hit the cover off the ball, right? Hit the cover, and then we laid an egg in Game 4, right? Typical Phillies, right? I'm hoping that team learned from that. This team, I hope this group, which I believe they have, because they have players only hitting meetings they've been having all postseason, where like now you got your stars talking hitting and breaking stuff down with your younger players. I can't say enough good things. I feel like they're even different than they were last year, right? I also know baseball. It's hard to continue to hit the long ball at this pace. It is very hard. They're setting records, okay? Records with the long ball. They haven't scored a lot of runs outside of it besides like some doubles, right? A couple. It's been long ball city. Oh, are they going to continue to hit at this rate? The long ball? Maybe. How I bet against it. And Nick at some point is going to go through a funk. Like, it's baseball. It is baseball. Now, I got to hope they don't. Right? But I could easily see Arizona taking 2 of these and us taking 1. I could see it. Are we better? Of course we're better, guys. You know what I mean? Of course we are. But it's also, are we going to get into a funk at any point? I hope we don't. Our pitching's better. We're facing a rookie tomorrow that we haven't seen, which always is concerning to me, right? That being said, we're good. We're battle tested. Tomorrow says a lot because that's a must win for them. Who shows up tomorrow? I'll have a better feel on the poll after tomorrow, right? But I'm going to agree. Like I said, I'm going to argue with myself, even though I want to lean to disagree. I want to lean that it comes back and we take game 6 in Philly, right? Because I'm just scared playing there. And they're like, they can hit. Like, when are they going to wake up? Maybe they don't. Like, I just don't feel sweep. That's all. I'll leave that. I don't feel sweeping happen. That's asking a lot. Now, they're young, right? And they haven't been in it, and they're probably a year or two ahead of schedule, right? And you would think that the more battle-tested, better baseball team will go there and take 2 out of 3, right? If they cough one up, fine, but they'll take 2 out of 3. So I'll agree. We're just better. But it's got to continue, and you guys know this game, man. It's hard, and I'll leave it at that. Sorry, I don't want to go too long here. But it's hard. It's hard to continue at that rate with the long ball. Like, hitting's one thing. We're talking about they're going to continue that rate? Shit. I'm in for it. I'm here for it if it does. Because it's been different guys. Now it's different guys, right? It's not the same guys. You know, Alec hits a double. JT's starting to swing it, right? Kyle's swinging it. So this team's so deep that it's like, okay, these guys are cold right now. Well, these guys are scorching. So, and if Harper ever gets out, then good for the other team. Like, I don't know if he's ever going to get out. I mean, that dude's the most locked-in baseball player in these moments I've ever seen in my life. And so is Nick. Time's yours. And Trey. Keep going. And a Kyle. It's freaking murderer's row. Remember Brad Ryder told me he wasn't top 5 lineup in baseball last year? Okay, Brad.
There's a lot of things Brad Ryder said.
We're the Yankees, babe. We're the Yankees. All right, I'm done. Go ahead, guys. Greg.
Yeah. Real quick before I go, Cullen, we go Ranger Suarez tomorrow versus Brandon Pfaadt. I think that's how you say it for the Diamondbacks. Tommy, I'm with you. I agree. I am hesitant on the agree though, just because we again, like you said, we know how baseball works, right? Not even necessarily what Arizona is going to do, but we just know how the game of baseball ebbs and flows, right? It's funny. Everybody thinks that the Diamondbacks are so young because their core is young, but that old man, 38-year-old Evan Longoria, screws out the average because they're actually older on average than us. If you actually look at the average age, they're like older by like a couple months. It's like 28.4 to 27.8 or whatever. Regardless, their core, though, Tommy, to your point, is very young, right? Corbin Carroll's going to be the rookie of the year. Alec Thomas is a first-year player.
Yep.
They brought up Jordan Lawyer late in the year. Gallen's very young in the game. He's not young, age, but in baseball. But
I mean, how old's Gal? I mean, I don't want to ask you.
I think he's 28. I would have to guess he's 28. But he's only been pitching 4 or 5 years, right? I talked to his brother today. A little bit. Yeah, his brother hit me up on Facebook. Like, call me. He's like, I watched your video. Me and my dad watched your video. It was awesome. Oh,
we were laughing so hard. So it was cool. He hit me up. So
that's great.
Shout out to the Gowan family. They're great people,
they're
man.
Awesome.
And like you guys know, like I'll go hot at cats, but like don't start calling guys scum. We'll get into that later. Don't call guys scum back.
But I agree because I think they only get one though with that, right? Whether it's game 3 or game 4, it makes it very interesting. This fairly new 2-3-2 format, right? It makes game 2 and game 3 so very important, right?
Mm.
Even almost more than game one because of the way the format is, right? If we would have split, we potentially wouldn't have come home. Potentially, right? Depending on how the series plays out. You cannot come back. And kind of the same thing with this series, right? We're up 2-0 talking about not coming back to Philly to play. So game 3, I think, is going to be the big one. Game 4, I think, is the one where we lose with the possibility of Lorenzen or Sanchez or Walker pitching and stuff like that.
You take Lorenzen out. You know.
Yeah, I think it's either Walker or.
I don't think it's a shot at anybody but Walker.
You think it's Walker straight up?
It's your veteran. He's the first guy on the steps.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So he's ready to go. He's ready to
go.
And listen, I got to go with a guy who's won the most games out of my rotation.
Sure.
And a vet. Like, at least he's a vet. Not saying he's pitching like a bunch of big games, but like, I also got to go matchups, right? Like, I don't know if I want to get in. Like, the other side of it is, do I want to get into a bullpen type atmosphere with them and run my bullpen down? Right. So you got to be sort of smart with it. Last night was a big help on that, obviously. And we go into this, it's 3 in a row, right?
Yeah. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. So it's 3 in a row. So, I mean, that's where bullpens get taxed. So I want to throw a Sanchez in game 4 where he might go 2 innings. And then I got to get deep in it. So to me, I go with a guy who can eat up innings and Taiwan all year has eat up innings for this baseball team.
No, he definitely has.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna argue the other side. I'm gonna disagree, and honestly, I had them at 5 originally, but my gut tells me at some points these bats are gonna wake up, and this is kind of the ideal opportunity. Going home, Phillies struggle there more often than not. You know, the fact with a rookie pitcher, a lot of times that's like a key ingredient for somebody to slow up the kind of momentum because guys really haven't seen them. And listen, it's a tall task. I mean, this team is literally tearing the cover off the ball at this point. They are absolutely clicking and hitting on all cylinders. Tom, we do the show with Mitch on Mondays, right? How many shows have we done asking for just some point where 3/4 of the lineup just hits at the right time? And it just seems like everybody's contributing, including Marsh at the bottom of the lineup. So, yeah, I just feel like they're due for a game or two where, you know, the hits come a little bit harder to come by. And I feel like Ranger, he's pitched extremely well. But, it wouldn't surprise me to see him come out and maybe struggle a little bit. And listen, I agree with you. I think there's no doubt that Walker pitches game 4, and it's the right decision. But we have to remember, guy's racked up a lot of wins. He's pitched well in situations where he's needed to get outs. But he's put up quite a few crooked numbers, too. And that's a game where I would worry, even if the Phillies win tomorrow, I would worry that if they can get to Walker and put up a big number, obviously you love your ace, you love Wheeler out there. But we've seen games where if a team comes in and they start getting a little confidence, they get hot, he's hittable, particularly in that ballpark. So I think this goes 6. I think they finish it at home. I don't think it goes 7. But yeah, I just think they're ready for a breakout at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I was arguing that side of it too, right? A little bit. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because they might not wake up. Ranger keeps guys so off balance that it's like, do they screw themselves into the ground as hitters? Right? Are they out in front? Are they trying to do too much? We saw with the Braves, right? Where, okay, now you're down, and now you got this guy throwing who throws slower, and it's a different pace, right? And he keeps you so off balance, so you start getting yourself out, right? And that's why Ranger's been so successful because he's been able to keep guys out on the front foot. And if you're front foot hitting, good luck. Good luck at any level, especially the 1% don't matter in that factor either. Guys will get you sometimes. Right. But more often than not, you keep guys off balance. So, that same better lineup that we kept waiting to wake up didn't. At the end of the day, to me, I'm not even worried about the hitting as much because I think we'll hit enough. We always do. Right. If this pitching continues, nobody's beating this baseball team. That's the facts of the matter. Like, there ain't a team in baseball. If this pitching staff continues to deal with the level they've dealt with, I don't know who's beating you because it's been lights out. There's been good. There's been good. in the postseason. And then there's been night.
Yeah,
You go
they
from a guy
haven't-
shoving it up your ass at 98, right, to a guy who comes in as Picasso the next night out. Again, keeps guys off balance, keeps guys guessing, right? And when he's on top of the baseball, we talked to Mitch a million times about, like he's been, and he's closed off. There ain't many guys better. There ain't, and you have those two, and then you go with a guy. Now you're down, you're not hitting, and now you go to a guy who's going to keep you on your front leg. It's amazing.
They haven't allowed big innings to happen, right? Even Noel, Marte got that 1-out double, right? He stayed there. You know what I mean? Like Wheeler let the bloop leadoff single to Corbin Carroll, and I think even Noah let up a hit to Carroll to start the game, but they stayed there, right? Carroll hasn't. I thought Carroll was going to be one of the keys to the series because of his ability to get on base and run. He hasn't done anything.
What neutralizes it?
The pitchers are neutralizing the run game, and they're not letting hits to stack up, right? They're not letting the big innings happen.
Babe. We don't got Garrett Stubbs with the Bud Light, box on his head back there. When we got a Gold Glove caliber catcher who throws guys out, even with the rules adjusted. He still throws guys out. So you're not I don't know why Carroll's not running. I'm an aggressive junkie, you know that. So I love moving. But at the end of the day, you got to remember there's a bullet back there,
sure.
right?
Well, I think too what you're seeing is, because they're getting out to these early leads, right, Tommy? We talked about this the other day about how come out and punch them in the mouth, and they've done that in both games. Essentially, they're putting them in a different situation on the base pass. I'm with you in that I would want to be more aggressive at those points, but I feel like runs have come so hard for them, or they've been so hard for them to come by, that they're almost scared of running into and wasting another out.
Well,
so situations where Carroll would run, he's not running.
Yeah, but you know what I do to guys all the time when we're struggling? We're hitting running. I'm taking it out of your brain. Yeah, I'm just making you react. And sometimes you got to move guys and open up holes for your baseball team. Like that's 101 baseball.
Yeah, when you swing, you're making JT stay back.
Yeah, and listen, whether it's a hit and run or whether you're just straight stealing, I mean, if nothing else is working, you got to shake it up. You got to take some risks to try to find a momentum swing somewhere. And I agree with you, but that's what I'm gathering. It just feels like they're playing timid now because they're scared of giving up outs. And having a guy like JT back there is a part of that equation.
Well, when you're scared, you lost. When you don't play to your style of ball, like if you got a style that you created and a culture of a style that you're playing with, you got to continue that style. If you take your foot off the gas as a manager, psychologically you're playing scared, right? And Torrey's done a great job. Deserves a ton of credit, right? Obviously, you get to the NLCS when you're not expected to be a playoff team. Says a lot about you as a manager. But you can't change your stripes, babe. I prefer you to keep going with these other stripes.
Keep being timid, right?
But you can't manage like that. The second my guys don't hit, man, is the second we are moving and shaking. And if we line out and get doubled up, then again, the baseball gods are against us, period. But I got a better chance of making guys react and opening holes up. We're now a ground ball to the second baseman where he's going to cover, right? When you hit him back door, now you got first and third. Now there's pressure. The problem is nobody's put pressure on us. The other side of it is we've kept guys outside of Carroll. We kept Acuna off the base pass, and when he was on, he scored. So when you can, and the biggest thing you said, Chrome, is when you come out and you punch somebody in the mouth at this place, that's a different punch in the mouth than anywhere else, right? Now, this is what's going to decide this, and then Noah go, right? If you come out and you punch in the mouth again, game 3, I do not know how they win. And they're scrappy and they scratch and claw. I don't know how they handle that. Because if you make that place quiet, shit's a wrap. Shit's a wrap. Because they're too young to overcome it. Right? They're too young. So, no, do you agree or disagree that it's ending in Arizona? Appreciate it.
All right. I'm sorry. Good evening, fellas. Good evening, everybody. Here are a few thoughts of mine. First, to answer the poll question. I agree. It's ending in Arizona, fellas. Look, it's not going to be easy, but I think it's a gentleman's sweep, so to speak. I think we finish in 5. All right. And I actually have us winning tomorrow. All right. I think Ranger's going to go out. I think he's going to give us a solid 5 or 6 innings. and I think our bullpen is in pretty good shape right now. We've pitched pretty damn well. I want to say over the last 14 innings or so by the pen, we've only given up 2 earned runs. So, the pen's in really good shape. I think Rob Thompson right now is he's spot on with the pen. You look at the series with Atlanta. He wasn't afraid to bring in his high leverage guys with the game on the line there. He wasn't afraid to bring them in the 6th inning and Alvarado and company when he needed to. And you look at this series with the D-backs, and obviously Wheeler and Nola, they did their job and did what we needed them to do. And the bats, man, we're tearing the cover off the ball. Yeah, I'm a little concerned that our only run manufacturing has been via the home run. But I'll tell you what, I think Ranger goes out there tomorrow. I think he throws a gem. I really don't see the Diamondbacks getting back into this series. And with all due respect to Zach Gallen, let's face it, we hit him around in game 1. But that's not to say I want to see him again at in a game 5 situation.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
He's money at home. I mean, the splits to speak for it. He's a different pitcher at home.
Yeah.
So I could prefer without seeing Gallen again in this series.
Right, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we will, if there is a game 5, we're going to see him there, right?
Correct. Him and Wheels.
Yeah, it'll be Wheels Gauss again.
So, and I'll obviously take my chances with Wheeler in that matchup. And I think game 5, if I'm going down the road here a little bit, I think we would finish it up on Saturday. Game 5, nice little pitchers duel. How about a 3-2 or 2-1 Phillies win?
Sunday.
Now the bats aren't going to be red hot the entire time here, but they're not going to stay as hot as they are. But I really like our chances to finish this up in 5 games. We're on a mission, fellas. And
no, listen, it feels like that. No, it does feel like
we really
feel different.
Balls are flying out of the yard. And the bullpen is getting critical outs, and that's what you need this time of year. And we're getting contributions up and down the lineup, and we're getting contributions throughout this bullpen. It's not just a one-man show. It's not just Harper. So, and in the pen, it's not just name a guy. It's not just Alvarado. It did various guys. Alvarado, Kimbrel. You got Hoffman, aside from the gopher ball he gave up to Riley. He's against Atlanta in the DS. Other than that, look, everybody's throwing the ball relatively well right now. And the Diamondbacks, they're a good baseball team. They're an up-and-coming team. I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the National League for years to come. Just not this year.
No, I mean, I would agree with you. Real quick, for anybody out there watching, not seeing, Texas has lost to Houston now. Game's final 8-5. So
figured that
chalk
one.
that up. Texas up on Houston 2-1.
Murph said he's moving home. Can't miss the parades. Yes, I pluralized it. See you soon, brother. Looking forward to seeing you, Murph.
Love that.
Welcome home, brother. When you do get home. Super. I agree with you to a point. Like, I would like to see Alvarado later, but it's hard to argue with anything Rob's done, right? Like, we might question it, etc., but it's hard to, argue it. Now, Bill.
Yeah, there's times where the game's on the line in the 6th inning, and that's where you need to go to your high leverage guys. Sometimes you can't wait till the 8th or 9th.
No, I mean, listen, it's worked, right? And these guys seem to be comfortable no matter where you put them in at.
Well, and that's why you have a Kimbrel, too. I mean, you have an experienced 400 save guy on your roster that, it's the point we talked about the other day where Rob Thompson seems to feel, and I can't argue with the logic, sometimes your save has to come in the 7th inning. And if that's where you feel like this is the highest leverage point in the game, where you have to use your best pitcher to get out possibly the most dangerous point in the game, he's doing it. And he has guys on reserve. When you talk about Kimbrel going out.
This bullpen's lethal. And the biggest thing they did from last year is they learned something. And what they learned is Houston's pen was lights out last year, right? All throughout the playoffs. Nobody could hit their bullpen. You almost didn't want to get to their pen. You're almost like, let this guy go 7. You know what I mean? See if we can scratch 4 across, right? You didn't want to see that pen. And our pen is like so similar to that, where you talk about how deep it is, Chrome. You know, when you talk about guys like Alvarado, Sir Anthony, right? And I know he's had to pitch great, but he still got a ground ball double play last night that he threw away.
Sure.
But he's still getting outs per se. But when you have those two, and then you can go, then you know you got Kimbrel in the chamber for later. It allows you the flexibility to do that. And then you're getting outs from guys like Matt Strahm. But at the end of the day, then you can go,
Hoffman.
Hey, Hoffman's been great outside of one pitch.
And
right?
I even throw Kirkland in there, a young kid who was in Clearwater.
I was getting there. I mean, you're that deep where you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, you have the ability to go at teams that not, and I didn't even say Soto yet, right? I mean, so you got
who's an all-star closer in Detroit.
Yeah, you got so many matchups that team. It's hard for teams to match up against it. Like I want to go 99 Alvarado and the thing don't stop moving, right? And then I can go right side with the same type of pitcher in Sir Anthony per se, right? When he locates that, I got stuff 98 that's moving, and we talked about this for years, Greg. Like, where's the back end heat? Like you gotta come in and throw gas late in games, right? And they finally have it. And then Soto's not a 98. So and then Kimbrel, okay, he's not what he once was. He's still 95. And Hoffman throws well. So I mean, and Orion's 99. So I mean,
you look at what we used to have in the past, Tommy, right? When we were just searching, and it used to only be the closer, right? Billy Wagner, Brad Lidge, right? That high velocity just from the closer. As you just stated, now it goes through the bullpen, and you had 4 guys back there that had the closing experience. You think about that, Braves. I mean, we ended up closing that one game out with Soto, right? We used all of our high leverage guys in innings they weren't usually in, and we ended up closing with Soto in that game, and that was such a huge bonus. You know what I mean? For Topper to be able to do that, and these guys all have experience. It's crazy to see because you're right, Tommy. We haven't had this bullpen in a long time. We had pieces, but we never had the depth that we do right now.
No, and last year it was deeper. It was not than this year, but it was better.
Deep-ish. Yeah.
And that's why you got as far as you did. And then those guys just wore out. But now you have the ability to you're not wearing those guys out for a couple of reasons. One, your starters are going longer. Yep. Right. So you're sort of saving them in a way, some of those guys. And then you get a day off. So nobody threw yesterday of importance, right? Of real importance. So now you got guys coming in on 2 days off. So listen, I'll just say this. I would prefer not to see a game 5 in Arizona versus Gal. I would prefer not to. And I know Wheels is on the other side of it, but I prefer not to. So the Bills thing of the sweep, I'm all in. I'm all up for just, hey, like Spell says. Look at the top 3 Philly starters ERA in the playoffs. It's insane. It really is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, stupid.
We punch you, we kick you, and then we KO you the first 3 games. I've never seen any dominant performances by top 3 starters in playoffs in MLB, and it's probably going to say history. I mean, you're talking about guys that got under once. Noah's a 0.96 earned run average. I mean, Are you kidding me? In 3 starts, not just 1. That's 3 goddamn starts. He's literally said, F you. Right? I don't know what Wheels is, but I'm sure it's freaking sensational. Right? So these guys are dealing, and then Rangers dealing. So, wow. I mean, like I said, if they continue that, the series is over.
Well, no, we had a conversation, and I said 3 years ago, the one thing this team has needed, and every year in and year out, didn't matter that you had Wheeler and Nola, and it didn't matter what they did with the offense. They needed a bullpen. There were pieces here and there, but there was never enough in the bullpen. There were guys, like you guys said, the guys were down throughout the year. They were mismanaged at points by certain managers, like a Gabe Kapler and Joe Girardi. I think guys were burned out over the years. And I think that's one thing that you have to credit Topper for. And you could see it last year, the kind of turning the corner with some of the younger guys who I think he got more out of than any of those guys previous. And then adding the right veterans to cap it off. And that's what, if you remember, that's what they did back in 08. when they went out, they had young pieces like Ryan Madsen in the bullpen. They went out and got Lidge. They went out and got JC Romero. They added certain guys to that pen that were veterans when these other young guys were starting to turn corners on their upswing. And I feel like that's what we're seeing now because they really struggle with the bullpen. And some of these pieces are here now, but they were never managed properly. And then guys burned out, guys were overused, mismanaged, not used enough. And now I think that, and to your point, Tom, last year you started to see this team's got a better bullpen than they've had in a long time. But then going and seeing what happened in Houston, they said, all right, we're going to go out and we're going to get Kimbrel. We're going to go and we're going to go get Soto. We're going to continue to make additions, through the trade deadline so that, and even Lorenzen, who has experience spot starting and being in the bullpen, I still like him as an addition in the bullpen if he really needed to go deep into a game or if an extra inning game comes about, right? There's so much depth that they have now that they've never had. Like if those 2 or 3 top names in the bullpen weren't pitching well, their bullpen was getting crushed. Now it's okay. Maybe this guy's not pitching well, but they're so deep. They have so many different options. And that's what I think is going to honestly be the thing that's going to really possibly carry to a World Series this year. That was the missing piece.
Chrome, to your point, that's an awesome point there. I mean, in baseball now, a pen is so important, as well as guys like Nola and Wheeler are pitching right now. They're not going to get you. They're not giving you 7 or 8 innings. They're going to give you great starts, but they're not. I know, as well as Nola and Wheeler are pitching in the starting rotation, and Ranger too. They'll be able to get through an order twice they'll be able to get through the order twice, but most likely around the 6th inning or so, they start to hit that wall a little bit. So then it's time to go to the pen. And it's all the more important that this pen continues to pitch well. And if they do, you're right. I think we're lifting the trophy.
Yeah, I
would argue that a bullpen is more important to a championship team than the starting pitching, only because if you got 2 really good starters, you can get there as long as your bullpen is deep. And in today's baseball, the way it is structured now.
Well, yeah, we just talked about it, right? It's as simple as, it's as simple as like,
and no starters going 8 or 9 anymore. It just doesn't happen.
What did we watch last year? I mean, we literally watched Houston do it. They set the precedent on it. Like they I don't want to say they started it, but they brought it back to a level of like, okay, like there's a lot of importance in here. Like if you can get to the back end and your back end is night, then who's beating you? You know what I mean? Think about it. Like who's beating you?
No, you're absolutely right.
Right. And if you're able to get timely hits, sorry, Greg, like if you're able to get timely hits on top of that, like they have, right? You're hard to beat. Like, and again, if you're playing with a lead, you're even harder to beat. And that's the difference. Like you're playing with a lead, and then now your starters, are get comfortable, right? And it's just like you haven't played losing. There's no other way I can say it. I mean, this team has done everything you could ask for in a baseball team. They really have.
And you look at even game 1 and game 2 in this series, like, talk about our strength of our bullpen. In my opinion, I thought we pulled both starters in an inning too early. I would have at least started both of those that inning that they were pulled, right? In game 1, I would have started Zach in the 7th, or both of them I would have started because I think they both went 6, but I would have started Knowles last night too in the 7th. If we gotta have somebody ready to go, then fine. But I would have started both of them in extra inning. But our bullpen is so deep and so effective right now that obviously we all felt comfortable. Well, maybe not so comfortable with Sir Anthony in game 1 after that started, but generally we felt really comfortable handing over the reins to the bullpen because we know those bullets that we have out there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. It's made life a lot easier. Spell says they're raking. He's on cruise control himself. So, I'm glad. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
It was really good to see guys who were struggling at the plate, Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, get some knocks last night, right? And I think Alec had hit a couple balls hard, just got snake bitten with a little bit of luck, and then he drove that double, and Stott had a couple 100 hoppers and a Bermuda triangle single, but those guys start to get going, and I think it's going to lengthen this lineup even more than it already is.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't agree more. Because they haven't been hitting, but we really haven't either. You know what I mean? Like certain guys, we haven't been, but we've been hitting. It's weird. You know what I mean?
Well, we've been hitting the long ball, but we've been terrible with men in scoring position.
Yeah.
Up until yesterday, obviously, you have a 10-run game. You're gonna hit a little bit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, of course. We've been better with that. So listen, we've been sensational. I mean, what else could we ask for a start for the way we've started this postseason? From timely home runs, the gigantic moments already, to a pitching staff that just shoves it up your ass in different ways. I mean, it really is. It really is special to watch. And I'm just happy these guys are here. And if Dave Dombrowski wins another ring, he goes down as the greatest general manager in modern day baseball history.
He's got
it's not even up for debate. You mean you won 3 World Series possibly if you win one with the Phillies in 3 different places, and the moves,
and came in virtually like the same spots, right? Down in the dumps, right?
Yeah, we were like close, but not close enough. And it was just like the little pieces and the right type of player that fits in Philadelphia. That's the biggest key, right? Because it's not an easy place to play, right? But if you got the right type of character guys that they have, when you talk about your best players are regular dudes like Hoffman talks about, that changes the whole dynamic of what you're building in a clubhouse. And a clubhouse in 162 is way more important than any other sport in the world. Like that type of culture that like guys can just hang with each other. And then you talk about, like I said earlier on, you talk about the players only just hitting meetings they have with each other, and they help each other and they talk to each other. You want to be a great hitter, man, you got to talk hitting. You got to live and breathe talking hitting, and obviously hitting. But you got to start with, you got to dissect it. You got to understand what you're trying to do. And when you got guys that are all-stars, MVPs, big moment guys, whatever it may be, that's willing to talk to younger players in this lineup about hitting, man, it's special because every little piece he did fit. I mean, Nick is a Philly dude. Just look at his answers. Look at his toughness. There isn't a more resilient player. I'll stand by this. There isn't a more resilient player in Philadelphia sports history than Nick. There is not. There is not. You can't find me one. You can't. And the only argument is Trea. Trea didn't fail long enough. That's the difference. You're talking about a guy who failed for an entire year, comes back in as an all-star, comes back and goes on an unbelievable, historic home run, little run, Reggie Jackson. When you're in Reggie Jackson conversation, after the year you had, name a more resilient Philadelphia athlete in history. There isn't.
No.
There isn't.
And it's funny, you talk about that clubhouse, Tommy, and it's not just what Hoffman said, right? It's what Rojas has said. It's what Kirkering has said. Right. And that's what makes this team so special and so fun to watch, because nobody cares about themselves. They all care about the next guy next to them. You know what I mean? You hear Harper, or you hear Harper or Castellano, and he's like, all right, cool. I got set a home run record, but we won. Right. Or Harper's like, great. I don't care about all that. I just want to win. I want to win for these guys. I want to play my best for these guys. That trickles down, Tommy, even just like the hitting, like you were just talking about, that all trickles down. And when these young kids are feeling comfortable, it allows them to go out and not play with clinch buttholes up, right? With big moments, right? It allows them to be free and be those guys. And I think it's such a huge underappreciated factor of, to your point, what Dave Dombrowski has built here.
Yeah, and
what the team is built. Let's be real.
What did Nick do? And what did Nick do when Rojas came up? He put his arm around him and said, "Go be you." You know what I mean? Go be you. And guys need, like you said, guys need to hear that. Young players. I mean, Bryson Stott roomed with Bryce Harper, so that relationship's there. Alec Bohm's a Philly dog, right? Alec Bohm was a guy I loved. He was my, my pick for, John Coyle picked Derek Hall at age well, but my pick for MVP, big time reach per se, right? What was Alec,
bold prediction. Yeah.
Bold prediction. If he didn't get hurt, he didn't get hurt, he probably has over 120 RBIs. So, he had a monster year. He's so important in his baseball team. He's tough. He's tough-nosed. Another resilient doggy.
And all he's done is just glove it. I love it.
This dude took young players and sprinkled them in with perfect vets, perfect freaking unselfish, prima donna-less vets that are tough. I mean, Bryce Harper talks about he loves seeing guys have moments. Are you kidding? Name another goddamn star in sports that talks about other players' moments, because there isn't. And if there is, they win. That's the difference. If they do, they win. Like Joker, right? Like unselfish dogs.
I think there's a couple of things we got to remember about this team this year too, guys. This team started with a huge loss in losing Rhys Hoskins, right? And immediately you talk about having to be resilient coming out of spring training. And there's some other guys too who can be considered almost like unsung heroes. The job that Cody Clemens did until Bryce was healthy enough to take over at first base. Was he a world beater? No, but did he flash the glove over there and do a defensive job? Did he find spots to come up with some key hits early in the year?
Did we miss Rhys early on? Absolutely,
yeah,
Chrome.
when you were shuffling. And to the culture, this team, the energy changed on this team when Rhys started coming back and hanging out in the dugout and being around the ball club again. I felt that was a lift to the team that continued to kind of transcend throughout the year. And I think, again, when you're talking
before
culture
you go on,
and what guys mean.
Let me make a point about Rhys before I forget. And like, if John's still in here, right? Nobody was probably more critical of Rhys Hoskins because I knew his ability and I watched him swing. And I used to harp on the fact that he used to fly open all the time. He used to try to pull every ball, right? And I'm like, and I used to smoke him. So the one winter I go into the facility, right? And who's in there in the cage? And I didn't notice him at first because he had like a beanie on, right? But he's doing a drill that like you close yourself off and you literally step towards the tee and you just hit everything away. So you're really over exaggerating front side close. So I said to myself, well, I can't rip this guy anymore. He's working. Right? He's working on something I know he needs to work on. And when I see you work on it, how am I going to say, well, you ain't put in the work? So it was something that was telling back then, right? And then you watch him have the moments he's had and the importance in this locker room that you're right, Cromer, that we missed, man. We missed it. We not only missed 30 home runs in your sleep, right? We missed it. A leader. Leaders come in different shapes and forms. I say it to my players later. I went on a huge rant about it, right? Where the hell are the leaders? So they all come in different shapes and forms. We didn't know it until that run last year. And then we found out, like, leaks came out about what he means to these guys. And you're right. When he came back around, it was like a switch. And, we just took 30 home runs out of the lineup. We had Trea Turner struggling. Like nobody was banged 238 at one point, right? I mean, you're talking about we didn't get the production back for that loss. And then we have another $300 million man who stunk, right? And guess what, though? Resilient. Now you can't get him out, right? But resilient. And that just goes to Dave Dombrowski again to go full circle on the job he's done to put the right pieces in Philadelphia. And, Trey and Bryce are boys. Well, Trey, Bryce, Bryson. Now you start going down a list of guys are boys. Guys are fucking family. That shit matters, man. It goddamn matters. Listen, let's just go finish the job. And we can have this talk later down the road. Eddie, so many storylines. I mean, where do you start?
Yeah.
You start with Bryce looking at Arcia, right? You start with Bryson Stott, granny, in a playoff game, right, against Miami. So you had all these different moments. Bryce, then you got Schwarber ambushing the first pitch from Gals the other night to get that party started. Nick, who was 16 inches away, per se, last night for another one, right? You know what I mean? Another one. So, I mean, Eddie, you're so spot on, brother. The storylines already, and we ain't even cut nets down yet. If this team somehow can manage, which are not far off, right? 6 wins away, Topper. If this team can find a way to win this whole damn thing, there won't be a more beloved team in the city of Philadelphia in the history of Philly sports. There will not be. You can write that down. 27 Eagles, nope. Right? I'm telling you, 93 Phils, nope. And it's not because it's current. It's because of the style of guys, the quotes, everything about this ball club. Right? 08 Phillies were a lovable team. This team says, hold my beer, because we're dancing on our own. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's finish the job. Job ain't done.
Broad Street, baby.
6 more. When we signed Bryce Harper, nobody was more adamant about you can't spend half stupid money. Right, Cromer? You can't spend half. Uncle Cigars, who I love now, right? Thank you for the checkbook. And thank you for bringing in a baseball fucking guy. Thank you for not bringing in some freaking nerd or some freaking loser who wants to be on the computer all day. You got to be able to balance both. You can't be one-sided. You can't be one-sided in your scouting department, or when you look for players, you can't be one-sided in all analytics. You got to look at the human aspect of it enough to be successful in Major League Baseball. You have to. And you brought an old school junkie that still had the wherewithal to bring in new school approaches around him still.
It's just so like mirror imaging of 2008 though. When you talk about, and I don't think he gets enough credit.
Who's that?
Ed Wade building that core.
You're right.
Drafting the right guys. And as much
Ed
as
Wade.
people didn't like McPhail and McClintock, they did go and get a lot of the core players. What I remember, what was it, Matt Clintock? Did I say McClintock?
Yeah. You said McClintock. I thought you could find him like, Bennifer.
I said McPhail and I meant to say Clintock. I think I said McPhail and McClintock.
Yeah, but Crumb to a point.
Sorry.
Right? Like
no. Right.
Yeah.
But listen,
those guys aren't Ed Wade. No, those guys aren't Ed Wade. Like Ed Wade drafted Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins. Like McPhail and Clintock didn't do any of that kind of shit. They drafted Alec Bohm and Bryson Stott, right? So they didn't draft the core of the team. They drafted pieces around Dave going out and spending some fucking money on the right things. And if you look at it, this roster is built off of your money, right? You're obviously did Clintock bring in?
Who drafted Nola?
I feel like Nola's been here for a minute. I almost want to say that's like a Gillick on its way out, but it's not Gillick. Who was after Gillick? Ruben? Was it
He was in
Rube?
2014.
Yeah, it was Ruben.
That's Ruben.
Ruben.
That's one of the things he did. He did give them as a parting gift, then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I mean, listen. At the end of the day, they've done a good job. It wasn't like it's terrible, right? As it looks. They did get some pieces. They missed on Moniak, obviously, but that was able to get you Marshy. So, you trade that off as a good move, right? Bill asked, I want to get through the series first, but at this point, I don't give a rat's ass. I'll see either one of them. I really don't care. Texas, I'm not scared of no ghosts. They're sensational, but they're built like we are. But again, neither one of those teams has the 3 starters that we can roll out at you. None of them. And Texas got some starters. It ain't this. It ain't this. It's freaking Evaldi, who's awesome. All right, Evaldi, and then it's Montgomery, who's been awesome but isn't awesome. All right, and then it's Scherzer. Okay, I'll hit 94 out of the ballpark all night against Max Scherzer with his flat fastball at this point of his career. All right, so Houston, okay, you got Valdez still, right?
Yep.
And then who's there too? I don't know.
It was Framber Valdez, Christian Javier went today. Oh, who did start the other? Oh, Verlander. Duh.
Oh, Verlander. I mean, it's good. It's good, but it's not as good as this. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think it changes. And then last question, whose bullpen is as good as ours?
Nobody's.
I mean, Houston's still good.
Houston's is still really good.
Houston's really good.
That would be your tough one. Oh,
I don't even know if they got this many arms.
Real quick to round up that point I was making, though, right?
I didn't even know.
Clentac did a good job, but then what did it take to get them over the top, right? You had Pat Gillick back in 08, a guy who had won out other places, had built successful teams. You go out and just knew how to put the right veterans around a young nucleus. Dave Dombrowski kind of did that tenfold because he's done it now. This would be a third time doing it, as you guys were mentioning. It's just so very mirror image of you get the right young pieces, but you just couldn't get the right guys to find that veteran presence around them until you kind of hit a home run with, again, what'd you guys say? A baseball guy.
Yeah, well, the difference is like when you talk about Gillick, he didn't have to bring in like big names. The best signing he had was Jason Worth, which was like an unknowner at the time. That obviously he had a home run with, right? And you look at Dombrowski. Dombrowski said, okay, it was a different situation, right? Like Gillick was like, okay, Pedro Feliz, like little moves like that. Where here, in today's in Phillies today was sign Harper to a bunch of money, then you bring in Schwarber and Nicky for over $100 million, and then you cap off the deal with Trea Turner. So you build it differently because you had young pieces, but your big part of your team was spent with the money. Same thing in Texas. Texas built the same way. Got some good young players, but they're the reason they're still playing is because of Seager, Marcus Semien, right? I mean, they went out and they signed players. So you're looking at teams that are left that all four teams, two of them did it the same way, and the other two did it the same way, right? Like when we talk about Houston, Houston's homegrown, right? Now they're different than Arizona, but Arizona's homegrown, right? So you're looking at baseball showing you there's no exact science on how to get to an NLCS, right? You can do it by having a young core with a veteran or two, right? Or you can do it with having some young pieces that are really good, but you surround them with studs. And that's what Houston and Phillies did. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that baseball you can win with different styles, right? Because I know Arizona's GM's a loser, or their owner is. So he don't want to spend money. He wants a salary cap. Well, okay. How about you spend a couple bucks, right? Yeah. So, that's a good fan base when you're winning. That ballpark seems like it always has people in it. So like if you go spend money and you add it around the young pieces you have, they're already a World Series contender, but they even twofold it.
Gillick did make those moves for Joe Blanton, Jamie Moyer, and Brad Lidge.
Okay, but still not to the level of the moves we talk about.
The Lidge one was pretty huge.
Yeah, but you're not perfect closing 300. You're not. Yeah.
We're going by. I'm just talking about guys who were like
Gillick,
exceedingly impactful veterans in the league.
Yeah,
Brad Lidge was.
Lidge and Worth are huge. I mean, they're home runs, but you're talking about 4 home runs here, or 5. You know what I mean? So like it's just a little different. That's all. It's not like Gillick did the same type of thing where he's surrounded and everything hit, right? This
where's the holes at and plug them in.
This is different to me because this could go on for another 4 years.
Yeah,
this go on easy for another 3. So like this doesn't have to be over because at the end of the day, you still got a lot of young pieces, and your best player's 31. There ain't nothing stopping Harper from being this good at 34 or 35 with modern medicine. Yeah, right. There's nothing stopping.
And the way he trains and keeps his body.
You tell me Nick can't hit till he's 34 or 35?
Well, particularly with the DH in the National League now he can play a little bit of first base for you if you really need him to.
Yeah,
you really can preserve a lot of him.
Tre's not playing good at a high level till he's 34 or 35. No shot. The only thing is you're pitching. But again, you do have young arms and you have money. That's the biggest thing. You got young arms and money. You go, come on, baby. And at the end of the day, boys, we're such a great fucking fan base, even though Chrome claims we aren't at times. I never forget you. Right?
Oh, you are right now.
We are such a great damn fan. I talk Phillies all goddamn season. Don't you ever dare talk about because then you're lumping. Don't lump. We can't lump, all right? Because nobody I get emotional after wins like this. I don't get like that with the Eagles. I care. It'll ruin my week. Don't get me wrong.
Listen,
But
Dad, I know you got the song blasting. I know you got a little.
Babe, all night. I can't watch enough videos. I can't watch enough videos. But what my point was, right? All jokes aside, is that it's such a great fan base that players love it, and that becomes guys want to experience that. Like Trea Turner not only loved Bryce Harper, but he said it. He said he watched the atmosphere and he goes, man, I need to feel that. I need to feel that. So now you're getting a guy, when you get guys that want to come like that want to feel it, they're different types of guys you're getting now. You're getting winners, motherfuckers. We're getting guys that are doggies. They want to feel that. And not many guys out there say, yo, I want to feel that intensity because they need it. It fuels them. They say it. This is the first time in pro sports history, in my opinion, that there's such a home field advantage. It's insane. It's insane. Look at the numbers. It's insane.
Tommy, we're going to have the home field advantage for the next 2 or 3 nights out in Arizona. I guarantee you tomorrow there are going to be more Phillies fans in the stands at Chase Field in Phoenix than there are D-backs fans. Guaranteed.
Well, listen, if
flights
A2D,
weren't 1,200 out of Orlando, I'd be there.
If I didn't have a tournament,
I hear you. I hear you.
Hold on.
Your ticket to the game is going to be $40.
I was going to cash in my Philly Sports Trips voucher, which you can go book any getaway, phillysportstrips.com. Go check them out. They're the best because they're good. They got an Arizona one. You know what I mean? And I was like, 18th to 22nd. I'm like, can I just get like a forecast of a lot of rain here? And I can get out of Dodge. Because I was really thinking about taking everybody. I'll take the cast, man. I would, I'll put some headphones on them, but I would let them soak in that. Listen, it's too much money here, right? It's absurd the amount of money.
Listen, I mean,
and I experienced it, right? I gotten the ability to go to the last 3 games. I couldn't go, right, for work reasons. But at the end of the day, like I tell people, I experienced all this in 2008. I was at every home playoff game, and I was at the clincher for the World Series, and with my mom and my dad. So the only thing left is when Cass is old enough to experience it the right way, right? That's the only thing left on my bucket list. Like I went through it. I felt it. So now I like enjoying it right from here. I do like hearing them from here because like that wears you out too. You know what I mean? You gotta be ready to go. I'm not going to waste a ticket if I ain't ready to go.
Yeah, my brother and sister were there last night. They said like every homer just got louder and louder and louder. And it was my nephew's first experience of something like that. And it was just like 10-year-old first time he's ever been to something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, I was so jealous every time they sent a video or a photo. And I'm like, I hate you all. But he spent $1,600 to sit at the 300 level, because that's how much the tickets were.
But to that's well worth it. Every
100%.
penny when your son at the right age gets to experience that, because that's
100%.
game changing. It's game changing sports wise. Like once you experience that as a fan, a young kid, you want so much more of that.
You're hooked.
You know what I mean? You're hooked. And that's what I was saying about Cashman. He's old enough. I hope they're still good.
Yeah.
Now, my boy Aiden Miller will be up raking. So, there'll be, there's dog to James's point, like there is doggies down there. Now, do I think it's the best it's ever been? No, not ever been, but it's better. There's definitely a little bit of a pipeline. There's guys down there that can play. I mean, look at Orion. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're ranked at. I mean, that guy just ran through farm systems. Like he's pitching in Clearwater single A earlier in the year, rookie ball, and then the dude's pitching in NLCS games. Like, and he's nasty. It's not always like, that's the funny thing about baseball. It's not always like your number 1 prospect who ends up being one of your best players. It can be your number 20 prospect, right? Because the difference, I say it to my kids all the time, the difference from an average big leaguer and an all-star? You know what the difference is? There's 2 differences. What's upstairs in your head and what's between your goddamn legs. That's the difference.
Yep.
It's a mental ability to be able to flush, right? To be able to make adjustments. And be able to want to make adjustments. And then what's between your legs? You got little baby peanuts? Because if you ain't tough, If you ain't tough, it is hard, man. Right? Because this sport is grueling. I don't give a shit what anybody says. 162 plus playoffs. It's a lot of baseball, man. Guys are tired. So now when you have that crowd energy to circle it back, when that crowd brings that type of freaking atmosphere to you, you ain't tired no more.
Hey, everybody talks about Mama Kelsey. I love when Kirkering's dad is put on the television, whether he's bawling his eyes out or he's high-fiving everybody around him. Dude is he's a vibe, man. He gives you such an energy. I love it.
And James, real quick, it is crazy that Noah changed his delivery because me, Mitch, and Chrome on Here's the Thing with Mitch Williams, Tom Arnone, and Michael Chromiak, that we saw it. We knew what it was. When you throw underneath the baseball, right? When you throw side or you're a little underneath the ball, all you're doing is letting your pitches, especially when you're a movement pitcher, you're letting yourself run in the barrels. Like, hey, might as well just put it on a teeper, guys. And that's what's happened with Aaron Nola. And we talked about it numerous times. And Mitch also
week
talked
in and
about
week out
staying closed, right? Just like a hitter. Hitters got to stay closed, right? Different from me pulling a baseball, right? And hitting a ball the other way is just contact points. It's not a change in how I swing. It's where I make contact with the baseball. So, you listen, I don't even know where I was going with that, but
talking about his mechanical changes.
Yeah, so he made the adjustment. What's the difference of greatness? What's the difference of being an all-star level caliber player? What did I just say it was? You got to be able to self-goddamn evaluate, and you got to be able to listen and correct.
And make adjustments. Yep.
And he did at the biggest point of the year. And everybody out there that puts slander on this dude's name when he takes the fucking baseball every 5 days. Every 5 days. You know how durable this cat's been? You understand how hard that is? This dude's been the most durable pitcher that we've had, and I can't tell you how long. And you're going to talk about he's not an ace? He's absolutely a goddamn ace. So's Wheeler. You're allowed to have two. This is why I laugh at people. Like, I can call him an ace and still call Wheeler one, too. Mm-hmm. And if you think this son of a bitch ain't an ace, you don't know baseball. You don't know baseball. Guys have bad years. But the biggest point of the fucking season, he changed shit up. He corrected it, and he's been the best pitcher we've had. And that's saying a lot with the other two. He's been lights out. Lights out. Wheeler's been money, and he's been lights out.
And it shows a lot, too, for a professional to make that type of change that late in the year, right? You have to know yourself, and you have to know that, that you're, again, going back to the clubhouse, right? I'm playing for these other 24, 25 guys that if I know this adjustment, he could have been like, there's no adjustment. I don't need to make an adjustment, right? I'm Aaron Nola, right? I finished top 5 in the Cy Young last year or 2 years ago, right? He could have totally big-timed everybody. But no, he humbled himself to realize, yeah, I'm doing something wrong. I need to make a change here, not only for this team, but for me as well. Because let's forget, like it or not, he's in a contract year.
Oh, he just got paid.
No, he 100% did. I agree.
He was getting paid anyway, Greg, from somebody.
Somebody, yes.
Listen, it would be the worst decision Dave Dombrowski's made if he does not bring Aaron Nola back.
Agree. And
for the simple point of durability. Wheeler isn't as durable, which is fine. It's not a shot. Some guys are just going to miss games. It just happens, right? Especially flamethrowers. When you have a guy who lives off painting, that guy can pitch for fucking ever. That's the difference. You do not let that go. If Dave Dombrowski listens to A2D radio, money don't matter, right? Winning matters. Winning matters to the owner. He said that. Do you remember how much money the 27 Yankees made? Yeah, and he went on a whole list of it, right? And I needed to hear that from him. So it ain't about the checkbook, and it ain't about durability. So what the hell's it about? That's the problem. If you don't bring Aaron Nola back, this team will not be back where they are right now. You can write that freaking down somewhere. Unless you go replace it with something just as good, right? Which then you're spending the money anyway, right? So when you have a guy who takes the ball every 5 days and it showed the ability like he's done to pitch at an elite level, you cannot let that go. If you let that go, it's the biggest mistake. Like, I'm not making a choice. You're not going to get there without Wheeler and Nola. But if you had a gun to my head, a hypothetical one, obviously, right? I would choose the more durable guy. The hard throwers have more. The research shows the harder you throw, the more chance of an arm injury you have. The curveball and the slider and the changeup don't mess your arm up like they thought it did. It's hard. It's hard. Now, Wheeler doesn't like have a hard delivery, but you see him miss tied for tired arm, etc., which is fine. The guy who spins it is probably a guy who stays in the game longer. So what's the price tag, babe? And what does that fucking matter? Do we got to come back for game 6 just to make a little bit more money? Then let's do it if we need to. But at the end of the day, don't even tell me about money. I don't want to hear, and they haven't, but I will be on attack mode if money comes into the conversation. If somebody gives him $20 million more, you out of your fucking mind? Out of your mind? You say, come in here, Aaron. We're getting a deal done today. We want you here. You've been built. You're a homegrown kitty. I don't want you walking out of here. So write the check across. You slide across your number, and we'll match it. What's your number? This ain't we coming.
Tommy, to your point, back the Brinks truck up.
Let me say this too.
Got to, Noah.
Just going back to here, right?
Real quick. Look, you look at Roger Clemens or you look at some of the great pitchers in the game. Even Clemens had the occasional bad year. Even Randy Johnson had a few years where his ERA was over 4.5 or whatever. I mean, yeah, most of his years where his ERA was spectacular under 3 or whatnot. But for my money, yes. Has Nola struggled at times? Yeah. Was he a bit shaky this year? Yes. But shit, when the bell rings and it's postseason time, Nola, at least this season, he's been money. And I think more often than not, he's been money. And I see Aaron Nola contending for Cy Young's well into the future here. I mean, he's a solid pitcher. He answers the bell. He takes the ball every time you need him to.
Yeah, that's the difference maker. A says, didn't Nolan Ryan play for 20 years? He's hard to throw. Yeah, I'm not telling you everybody who throws hard gets hurt. That's not.
Well, you know how that goes, Tom. You bring up a point and someone will bring like the anomaly up and say, it can happen.
Yeah, of course it can. I'm just
talking about
even Nolan Ryan had a season or two of over a 4 ERA.
Yeah, I'm just talking about guys' durability.
Yeah, quite a few of those actually.
Who do you trust to be more durable, Wheeler or Nola? I mean, we've seen it. It's not like a debate.
No,
but
listen,
it's not. But I want both. Like I'm not. If I want to continue, we talk about 3 years, right? If I want to get here for 3 more years, well, I better keep those 2, and I better find some other ones, right? Like you want to keep going. Yeah, you want to keep going. You got to keep going unless you have a backup plan that's just as elite. And I would find it hard pressed to find that backup plan. Now, if Wheeler's the guy you move on from when his deal's over, and you think he's too old, whatever, that's a decision you can make organizationally. But Noah's a guy you can't lose. Wheeler's a guy that you maybe could replace, but you got to go spend money. Make sense? Or there better be somebody homegrown throwing 99. So, that's where that becomes difficult. Now, I don't know. I forget how old Wheeler is now when his contract is up.
He's only got one more year. I think next year is his last year.
And how old is he? 32?
30.
Is he that young? I don't feel like he's 30.
Wheeler's 33 years old.
Yeah, man.
Hey, fellas, speaking of 99.
So 34 next year, right? 34 next year, Chrome?
He'll be 34 next year, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's born 1990.
When's his birthday? When's the date?
May 30th. So early in the year.
Oh, so he turns 34 early in the year. So you're almost giving him a contract at 35 up.
And he signed through 2024.
Yeah, next year. So maybe
so
2-year extension.
You're giving him a contract at 35 years old up, right? So, that actually helps you money-wise. And we've seen guys like Verlander still pitch at a high level there. So,
3-year extension.
Yeah. I'm not, listen, until somebody in the pipeline is taking your spot, right? These guys are back. And they've shown to be durable enough. Like even Wheels, you know what I mean? Wheels, and they've done a great job that nobody talks about. When they met 6-man rotation, it lengthened these guys, man. It lengthened them. It made sense. They had enough arms to do it. Give these guys the extra day. They learned from last year, right? Last year, Wheeler and Noel were done. And so was Sir Anthony and Alvarado. They were shot by the end. And you saw it, right? This year, they're cruising. And I know Sleeps didn't like it, but I actually like the fact that they took Noah out last night. Like, dude, he might have to throw again. Like the less balls I got to throw, why not? I'm up big. You know, I'm up 5 or 6-0. You know? Yeah. So I'm okay with that last night. If that's a 3-0 game, absolutely not. You know what I mean? 3-0, he ain't going nowhere.
I want to say this about Wheeler too.
Oh.
Go ahead. I'll get this point out of
Hey, you mentioned
we're here.
You mentioned pipeline. How Mr. Andrew Painter, when do we have him projected to be fully healthy? Are we thinking next year, or is that more 2025?
So next year would be a full year in July. So not till 25. We won't see him. And that's if you even see him.
All right. Well, then by 25, you know, maybe you move on from Wheeler, and maybe Painter, as long as he makes a full recovery and is, you know, still prognosticated to be the same dealer that he was, you know, maybe he slides into that slot.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. I mean, listen. I mean, we're a long way away from that. You know.
Let me circle back to 2023 here. One thing I want to say about Wheeler here, right? When he came from that Mets rotation, everything was about DeGrom. Everything was about Syndergaard. He was almost like the forgotten guy there, and that's why they kind of let him go. And the Phillies went out and paid the man, and he has proved every bit of the ace or more than those two guys have. DeGrom can't stay healthy. Syndergaard was never the same pitcher. Hell, you bought him in for nothing last year. And I think that that's a real credit for him to leave that New York Mets team and to come to Philadelphia, and then again in an environment that we talk about all the time on Mondays, right, Tom? It is a hostile environment. It's difficult to play in. But if you can shine here, you're a friggin' legend in this city. And if this team could win a World Series with him at the top of the rotation, I mean, what a story for that guy who, again, I felt like he never got – I loved the signing for the Phillies when they signed him. Loved it. And there were prognosticators who thought they overpaid him and this and that because, you know, we talk about the money and everything else. I love that signing for them, and he's been worth every goddamn dime. And I think he should get a lot of credit as a guy who was a real unsung hero in that Mets rotation and was always kind of the third wheel.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree with that.
Couldn't agree more.
To this day, I still feel like he doesn't get – and he's now had big playoff performances in back-to-back years. And I still feel like when they talk about the top aces in the game, I'm not saying he's, you know, the top 3 guy or anything. When you talk about a guy that you can count on to go out there, take the ball, and give you a great start, not just a good one, a great start way more often than not, I don't feel like he's in the conversation enough, to be honest with you.
I agree. I don't think either of them are in the conversation enough. You know what I mean? And especially Wheels. Like, he's almost like an afterthought. You know? Now he's not. Right? Now he's not.
Yeah. He should definitely be in the Cy Young conversation. He shouldn't win it, but he should be in the conversation.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. But they've both been absolutely tremendous. You know, you can't say enough good things. So like,
a lot of strikeouts, man, in this postseason.
Yeah. I mean, to the level they're striking people out and out
mowing them down.
It's truly something special. It really is. Like, I haven't seen a team so connected in a long time at every level.
And they're using all their pitches, Tommy. They're using everything. Like, it's not like we're just going up there and trying to strike guys out on 3 pitches. I mean, they're using all their repertoire. They're using setup pitches. They're moving the ball around the zone movement. I mean, it's really been a masterclass from both of these guys thus far in the postseason.
It's been a clinic, right?
Absolutely.
And Ranger, Ranger same way.
Throw him in there, yep.
Ranger's been a damn clinic too. So I mean, it's clinic city over here, right? I mean, It's truly something. It's truly something goddamn special. Like it really is. That's why it's like, I don't want to get too high, right, on it. But I obviously will as it keeps going and they keep winning. But like I said, it's hard to bet against the poll. It's hard to disagree just because of who they've been. You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing to take out of it. Like, how do you bet against this group? When we talked about the resiliency and all these different guys, how do you bet against it?
Yeah.
I need somebody to tell me how.
We've said it before. This feels different. Like this team feels different this year. Whether it's just the experience, whether it's the addition of obviously the new guys in the lineup and in the clubhouse, but this team feels different. It feels like the guys that have been here learned something last year, right? And the guys that were brought in, you look at like Trea Turner, he's been there before, right? He knows what it takes, So even though he's new to the clubhouse and new to this team this year, he's also been there. He's gotten over the hump. He's played in these big games before. So these guys aren't scared of the moment, and they're playing like it because they're seizing everything that they give. Right? Gal's trying to get that get me over fastball for game one, and Schwarber hit it. Right? I mean, they're seizing every mistake that you make. Boom, we're jumping on it. Give us extra outs in an inning. Boom, we're going to put up a 6 spot. Let's go.
I couldn't agree more, Greg. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. And 08 was special. You know what I mean? 08 was absolutely special, but I've never seen a team that it's somebody different. It's somebody different every night. Sorry, I'm trying to do a quote real quick. But it's somebody different every night that steps up in a big spot or gets you out to the early lead, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And then
see you, Rye. Thanks for your comments, brother.
Yeah, Rye, you're the best, brother. We appreciate
you, brother.
Let's go. Gotta go, folks. Have an awesome night. Let's go. Red October. Oh, an A2D best of the business. You know it.
Let me try. We have
Thanks,
our moments.
brother.
We definitely have our moments. But no, I mean, listen. Like I said, how do you bet against them, boys? Chrome did a little bit, but I get it.
Well, he's a Cardinals fan, so he's got to.
But he's also,
but he's a realist. I get it.
Did I bet against them?
You disagreed to the poll. You bet against them.
Somebody had to disagree to the damn poll.
Yeah, but I sort of did it.
A circle jerk fest over here, or what?
I sort of did it already. You know what I mean? You didn't even need to. Remember, I was arguing with myself.
You were. You did start kind of making the point for yourself, and then you made another point as if you were arguing the same thing. I was like, does he remember which is we agree and disagree?
Nope.
So, Tommy, who won the argument?
I don't know which Tom. I can't answer.
All right. I'll give you the answer. The Tom that agreed to the poll.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's go, Phils.
All right, listen, we got to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back, and we'll continue some Phillies talk. And, we'll stay with you for a little bit here. Keep your comments coming in. We appreciate it. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. We will be right back.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My Nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat john. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Welcome back, family. It's the A2D Wednesday nights only on A2D Radio. If you're just joining us and you're a little late to the party, hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. And our poll for tonight was the Phillies will end the NLCS in Arizona. Do you agree or disagree? You can still let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. So stay with us. We feel like we got a show for everybody. I actually can guarantee that. So how's everybody feeling? Is it over in 4? Is it over in 5? Does it get to 6? Right? A lot of still question marks there. You know, I think like we talked about, tomorrow's the big one, right? I mean, you take tomorrow, you could pretty much wrap this up, right? They take tomorrow, okay, not the end of the world, but I do believe our buttholes will get a little clenched, you know, just a little bit.
You
Like,
definitely back tomorrow.
Yeah, and obviously it's based on like how that happens, right?
Sure.
Well, it's like Greg was talking about, right? Tonight when you talk about Texas, right? Opportunity to kind of put their foot on the throats of the Astros. And I agree with you, Jeff, Jesus Christ, Greg, in your logic that before we went on the air, right? We were talking about, do you throw Scherzer in game 3? Do you save him for game 4? Guy hasn't pitched the whole postseason, right? Pretty much. I mean, he was hurt coming into the playoffs. Opportunity possibly squandered for them to really put their foot on the throats of the Astros. And this is an opportunity for the Phillies tomorrow. I do think they have the pitching advantage. You have the unknown, though, with the young kids. So, you know, some factors there. But the one thing you do know is Rangers coming in really confident. And that's the benefit for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yep, you think he's coming in really confident, Chrome, and really in the goddamn zone, you know, in terms of, you know, like we talked about, in terms of just being in the zone, a strike thrower, and calm, cool, collective, like he always has. We were talking a little bit. We went to a commercial, and hats.com, where you can get the Brian Dawkins hat that he wore in his Hall of Fame induction. So really cool stuff. And all you got to do is use code Philly, 15% off your order at hats.com. So go check out our friends over there. We got styles for everybody, and you'll love it. And you can get Dawkins' hat. And tomorrow, like I said, make sure you head up to Royal Billiard, and you can catch the live show, Vetted, with Hiles Thomas and Irvin Fryer from 5 to 6 tomorrow at royalbilliards.com. Colmar, Pennsylvania, 515 Bethlehem Pike. Go check them out. And we already talked a little bit about Carlino's. Chrome was there. Phenomenal food. You obviously saw the commercial. And locations in Ardmore and Westchester, PA. So, gotta go check them out.
When you see in that commercial how it's presented, like it is exactly what you see in there. It's not just a commercial. It is family oriented. They welcome you when you walk in there. I'm telling you guys, the food is spectacular. The environment is great. Go check them out at Carlino's, man. Either location. I went to the Ardmore one, but either location is phenomenal.
Yeah, and they've been in business for 40 years. So they were just celebrating 40 years. Tremendous, right? And if you've been in business that long, you know it's delicious. And if you're not by Carlino's because it's too far from you, like we said, we got Baggio's bread right in Mount Laurel. So, I mean, you're taken care of food-wise around the area, right? So if you're more in the Mount Laurel area, go to Baggio's, but still go check out Carlino's. But if you're in the Westchester, Ardmore area, you know where to go, babe. You know where to go. You're taken care of. A2D takes care of you when it comes to the grub, right? And if you like the bar atmosphere, you head out to Gleason's, located by Noah, Levittown, PA. You can still use promo code A2D, get 10% off your order. So go check out Gleason's as well. So look at time.
Had a cheesesteak the other night. It's delicious.
Did you?
Yes, sir.
Did you use the promo code?
Yes, sir.
Look at you. Look at you, big doggy. Greg. Greg's like a
growing
proud
up.
father. Greg's
Yeah,
so proud of you.
nothing goes better with a lager than a cheesesteak.
You're right. You are right.
It's a great combo.
Listen,
Sure
clearly,
is.
you look at the personalities on this platform. We love our food, so we're not going to steer you wrong when it comes to the food.
Yeah, we try not to. You know what I mean? We try not to.
Matt Schatt comments, do you think Walker will pitch game 4? We did kind of talk about that earlier, Matt. I think we're all pretty much unanimously in agreement that it almost has to be Walker, I think, at this point. He's the guy with the most experience, the guy who seemed to have pitched situationally better this year. So I would think that's who you're going to go with in game 4.
Yeah, I don't think it's even a question. I mean, I guess
Makes sense to me. And then you have Sanchez ready just in case.
Well, now the question is, we're sitting here talking about Gallen game 5. If they go down 3-0, do they bring Gallen back on short rest and throw him out there for game 4?
It
depends on.
Think about it because I don't know that they have another guy.
I don't know that they do. Anyone that you would be more confident in and a must win than Zach Gallen? I mean, at that point, I'm trying to get the Gallen and Kelly, back out there as quickly as I possibly can. Gallen didn't overly expense himself the other day in terms of, going really deep into the game. I mean, they took him out with a fairly decent pitch count. So I don't see a reason why they can't. And I almost feel like you have to. A team like that must win. At that point, you got to take it game by game. And your best chance to win game 4, if the Phillies win game 3, is Zach Gallen.
Yeah, and I don't know that they have necessarily a better option. To your point, I don't think they have a better option. They haven't gone long enough this postseason. You're right. They swept the Dodgers, swept the Brewers, so they haven't needed that fourth guy. Neither have we. But at least, obviously, we know this team. But yeah, to your point, Chrome. Your back's up against the wall. You're at home. You probably have to. You probably have to.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't. And I do. Like you talk about, got nothing between your legs, but I don't know how you don't. If you're down. So here's another fun stat: the Philadelphia Phillies have hit 19 home runs this postseason, while allowing a total of 13 runs.
They've hit more home runs than runs scored that they let up.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty wild.
They've hit 15 of them in the last 4 games.
I mean, that's unheard of.
That's tearing the fucking cover off the ball.
That is absurd. You know what I mean? Like, that is absurd.
That's crazy.
And it's like, it's 4 guys that are just killing the baseball, right? It's Bryce, it's Nick, it's Trea, and it's Schwarber. And Nick's got what? 6 of them? 5 of them?
2, 4, 5. Yeah, maybe 6. Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah, like we were saying, the guy's been on another goddamn level.
I loved Jake Cave last night, by the way, going for that triple.
He was safe,
and I thought the announcers, he looked pretty. He looked pretty safe to me.
I don't even think it was really close. He was safe.
Yeah, that's a close game.
I think Topper's like 10-0. Nah, we're not gonna.
No, that's what I'm saying. I love the announcers. I thought they were spot on with it. You know what? At that point, they're up 10-0. There was no way he was ever stopping at second base. He had 3 all the way. And why not? He may not get another at bat. That might be his one at bat. Go for it.
Yeah, and if you get thrown out, you almost help the game move a little quicker too.
Well, at that point, yeah, it was like, all right, let's move this along.
I can't believe that's a stat. It just blows my mind. Just on how overly good they've been. And that's what we talked about. Like, does that continue? We know baseball. Like, if that continues, great. I'll see you guys all on Broad.
Did I tell you guys game 1? I had a 10-leg parlay. I missed it by 1 leg.
Did you really?
On that game. I missed I needed a Trea RBI, I think. And of course, he comes out the next game and hits a home run first at bat. I'm like, it was a small $3 bet that I did the profit boost on. It would have paid me $1,500 though.
Jeez.
I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well,
I've had a Schwarber home run for the last 3 games. Didn't put it on last night.
Boom.
Lift off.
Here it is. I had Wheeler over 6.5 strikeouts, a Harper hit, Turner hit, Castellanos hit, Corbin Carroll hit, Marte hit, Schwarber home run, Harper home run, Gallen 3+ strikeouts, and the one I didn't get was Trea hitting an RBI. Like, son of a bitch.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. It was plus 48,533.
Wow.
Don, if not now, when there, brother? If not now, when, right?
What do you say?
No, how you feeling about Penn State, Ohio State?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if they want to, James Franklin wants to keep his job, in my opinion, he's got to win that football game against a team
His
that
job's
they are.
safe.
No, it's safe, but you understand what I'm saying, Greg.
No, I
All
completely agree with you, though.
I mean, you got to fucking make a statement once in a while. You're just going to keep passing along because he recruits well. I mean, you got a chance where they lost a Heisman finalist at the quarterback position. You got to go beat them. Makes sense? Like, you're better at that position right now, arguably, right?
Yeah.
Than they are. I mean, obviously they have the best wide receiver in college football, maybe even a top 10 in the NFL already. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this Penn State's got to go win this game. Is this in Columbus? Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, man. But at some point, you got to win the Big Ten. At some point, James, you got to win the Big Ten, babe. You got to be a top 5 finalist. You can't have a top 5 recruiting class every goddamn year and then not be a top 5 finalist.
There. Yep.
That means your coaching staff isn't doing their job.
100%.
So,
yep. Noon game
what's
on
Devontae
Saturday.
Smith? What's Devontae Smith injury?
That's the first I'm hearing of that, Don.
No, don't do
They're
this.
a little worried about the hammy.
Oh, hammy. Well, I mean, any other week, I would be like, okay, not this week.
Hamstring
Do we want to take 5 or 10 minutes and just cover Eagles talk?
Yeah, we can wrap it up with some Eagles, of course. They obviously are playing, and it's a big one. You know, sweeps are coming in the town, the Dolphins. So
this is why Chrome wants to talk about it.
Well, I didn't say Chrome. I said sweeps. So I didn't give Chrome credit for double dipping.
I'm not double dipping.
But he brought it up, so I'll call him out for bringing it up.
Well, first of all, go out there and getting Julio Jones finally, 5 years too late. But listen, I would hope he has a little bit in the tank and maybe helps this red zone situation because, that is the one thing he does have is a big body.
Yeah, I don't.
He's better than anything they have on the roster in terms of a third or fourth wide receiver.
Oh, he absolutely is.
No, 100% truth there. After Devontae, it's questionable. You're right.
Yeah.
And if they're worried about Devontae hammy a little bit or whatever that's going on there, it's nice to be deep in spots, right? Deeper, right? Yep. Obviously, it's not. It's not the best situation because it's not what he used to be, right? But he's still good enough. And Greg or Chrome, whoever said it in the red zone, that's so important. You know what I mean? And our red zone offense hasn't been good enough. And guess what? This is a big week for Jalen Hurts. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care. I don't put no pussy on a pedestal. You understand me? So ain't nobody in this city has ever been on a pedestal to me where they cannot be criticized for not playing up to the standard that we expect. All right. So that's the facts. You can't play the level you did last year and not continue to play close to that level. And he has not played even close to the level of football he played last year. And I don't want to hear all the goddamn excuses. Excuses are for guys that knock it off. Okay, knock it off. Knock it off the excuses. Like he's getting them into place. He's deciding where to go with the goddamn football. So miss me with Brian Johnson. Miss me with Nick Sirianni. Let's start. You start with the guy, and then you can go elsewhere. You don't start elsewhere and then go to the player. Knock it the hell off. That shit I'm sick and tired of. All right? You can lose coordinators and get other ones. At the end of the day, you got to get yourself into the right play. You got to make the right read. Now, okay, could they help him out running the football more? Of course, we all agree with that.
That's where my argument would come in.
Bro,
and
you don't pay,
just that.
Hear me out. You don't pay $255 million to not be able to throw the football.
No, I understand that, but I'm talking outside of RPO, right? It's like now that he's paid, they don't design enough runs for him. So now it's a lot of him just bailing out instead of having a design run. And when they do call them, they're at the wrong time where the defense is anticipating it. And that to me is where the coaching staff comes in on that conversation. And that's whether you want to call it Brian Johnson or Nick Sirianni. At the end of the day, they need to run the football more.
Okay.
You have an absolute stud.
I'm not against running the football.
No,
but
right.
listen,
I know. I
know
what you're saying.
It starts with him though. Right? When
So,
he's
like,
if he's making the wrong reads and he's checking in the passing plays or whatever the case may be, that falls on him. And I'm watching a guy who's not staying in the pocket like he used to. He's not trusting himself. He's not going through his reads. Absolutely not. This is a gigantic week for Jalen Hurts. Listen, the greatest show on turf's coming in, babe. So you got to match. Now, this is a week where you got a goddamn match. Listen, we talk about resilient. We talk about flushing, right? I trust that he will flush. I trust that he will get better than he's played right now. But when I talk about the first 5 weeks, he has not played even close to the level we expected. And if you want to get the Broad Street, if I want to get the Broad Street, if he wants to get the Broad Street, if this Eagles team wants to get the Broad Street, he's got to be elite. Done. I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes loses coordinators. Like, I don't care. Like,
well,
I don't care.
You might be facing Jalen Ramsey this week too. He's back in practice.
More salt in the wound here for me. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Everybody wants to tell me what other quarterbacks are doing. I don't give a shit. I didn't pay other quarterbacks. I'm not a fan of other quarterbacks. I'm a fan of the Eagles. So there hasn't been a quarterback in the history of Philadelphia that hasn't had people get on him or be critical of him in Philadelphia sports history. So now all of a sudden we're fucking free pass city. Miss me. You didn't win shit. You didn't win a Super Bowl. You don't get a free pass. The only time you get a free pass in this city is when you cut the nets down. Then that following year, you get a pass. You don't get a pass for just getting there and losing. We did that 4 fucking times in the NFC Championship games. You didn't get a pass. Dude got crushed. Keep the same energy, man. And I was a Donovan defender at the time. And I defend Jalen when I need to. And I trust Jalen. I love Jalen. But I'm allowed to tell you what my eyes are watching. I've watched it long enough. I'm not telling you I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm not going to act like that. I'm just going to be the loudest voice in the room right now. I don't hear enough of it. Right. He got paid. So you got to perform now.
I agree with you.
He's got to take better care of the ball is what he's got to do.
Well, it starts there, Noah. It starts there for sure. Absolutely.
Fair.
That's the big difference, Cromer. That's the big difference.
God damn. Today, right?
3 picks last week. Can't happen.
2 picks. That one was on Dallas. Dallas got to hold that ball.
Yeah, I agree on that part. Yep, for sure.
The other 2 were horrendous, though. I mean, in fairness, I'm not absolving those 2 because they weren't just bad picks. They were egregiously bad picks.
That last one can't happen ever.
No,
ever.
First of all, they shouldn't be throwing the football anyway. They should have been running the football at that point.
Absolutely, Chrome. The other side of it is, again, he's the one throwing it. If you don't have anything, you just throw the damn thing away or you take a sack. You take a sack.
You're right. You
wanted to run around all day. Now you don't want to run? You want to run around all fucking day.
You could
now you
just
don't want to run?
you could just see the way that game was going, right? Like DeAndre Swift goes out of bounds instead of staying in bounds and letting the clock run. Like there were so many things in the last like 3 minutes of that game that you're like, what are you doing? Like it looked like a rookie team out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're running the practice squad guys who haven't played a big game before. Anyway,
couldn't agree more with that.
There was a stat that I saw today, and I think it was, I don't remember, it was 10 or 14. I think it was Jalen's been rushed 14 more times, and they've had 10 less designed quarterback runs than they did this point last year. And again, that's one of those things where I look at where because the quarterback got paid, and like I never thought that Jalen ran egregiously, like recklessly last year, right? It's one thing if you're like Mike Vick early in his career, who every opportunity he had, he took off. And I think that's why you saw him, and he would never slide, which Jalen slides, where you would see him, and he ended up having that major knee injury that kind of changed his career for a little bit. But like, I don't think he's like I feel like because he's paid now, those design runs are less and less. Or I've seen the theory, maybe they're waiting to add that more to the repertoire till later in the year when it's more needed in important games. To me, right now, you start losing games to the Jets, it's time to start opening the playbook. So if that is a thing, and I don't know if it is, that they're holding Jalen back because they paid the quarterback and they don't want to just open it up and let him run a little bit more this year because of that, fuck that.
Well,
That's
it's funny.
He was never reckless last year, Greg. Never. And he was smart. He got out of bounds or he went down when he needed to.
It's funny you say that, too, because, like, you look at 2 weeks ago against the Rams, which I think a lot of us thought was Jalen's best game overall.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because he was effective running the football. And it opened up the passing lanes for him, and obviously, a couple big plays from AJ and Dallas helped. But he was effective running the football on what looked like design plays, and he, lo and behold, had a really good week. And then, to your point, you come back this week, whether it's overlooking or looking ahead or just coaching arrogantly, like all three of them could probably be true. It looked like you're right that they were hiding stuff and just like, all right, our bare minimum can get by the Jets.
I totally think they overlooked the Jets big time.
Well, hey, listen, that happens, right? No, I don't care. You lose a game. Like that happens in the National Football League. It's not the end of the world. You're 5-1 still. Mm-hmm. What becomes the end of the world if you come and lay an egg this week? That's like Greg, yes, inexcusable. Get it. This happens, right?
Right.
Again, I'll repeat. You got Miami coming into your fucking building. How do you respond to your lackluster performance the week prior? I'm going to tell you. I think we win this football game. I'm going to say 31-28. Jake Elliott field goal for the win. I got to believe that this football team can score with them, but they're also going to score too, right? We know that. But, we get a little healthier. Obviously, we'll have Darius back, which would be gigantic. Hopefully, we have Bradley Roby because, we need all these guys healthy because it's going to be a track meet. And I don't know about Reed.
Just cited Scott back.
Yeah, well, Reed Blankenship with the ribs is never ideal. So, but guess what? Sean Desai's done a great job with the injuries. Now you hope you get Jalen Carter back this week, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I think so. Should be.
So you get some of these doggies back, and let's see how this plays out. Now, this is a guy who loves getting rid of the football quick. And if I'm Sean Desai, I got to get up in people's faces. I got to trust my front to get home if it's not a quick release, right? I got to trust that. So it's going to be interesting. This is going to be, it's a great coach over there offensively in Mike McDaniel, right? He really draws it up. He's got the toys to draw it up. It always helps, right? But this is a big test for our offense to be able to score. I need to see last year's offense come out and party this week. And if I do, I'll have nothing to say. I'll be happy as a pig in shit. But I'll tell you this. If he comes out and doesn't play at a high level Sunday, you're going to fucking hear from me. All right? Because I was the biggest guy to say, you don't got to pay yet. Do it again. Do it again. Not that I don't trust you would. Do it again. That's it. Because what happens today, you don't have all the talent around. Like, I need to see you raise your game. And it's got to start now. Got to start now. And like Noah said perfectly, it's the turnovers. It's not even like, oh, he's not as good as last year. He's turned the ball over at an alarming rate that Dak Prescott would be having memes all day about. But he's getting a free pass for it. Come on. I'm not telling you got to make memes. I'm not telling you got to run a guy out of town. I'm not telling you got to bench a guy. I love him. He's got to play a lot better. And if he doesn't and it continues, that's a fucking problem. It's not ideal.
Not only that, Tommy, we got to cash in the red zone, especially against a high prolific offensive team like Miami. Let's face it, we're not going to hold Miami to 10 points. I mean, we must cash in on the red zone. We got to be scoring touchdowns, not kicking field goals. I mean,
I couldn't agree with you more now, especially against this team because they're going to score.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. I mean, I'm not going to be a fool this week and say, we're going to win 42-10. The Dolphins are going to get theirs. I mean, I don't think they're going to put 40 on us, but, I kind of see it where it's going to be a 34-28 type of game.
Yeah, I agree. What do you guys have?
I got 34-28 Birds.
34-28. Wow.
31-28 here. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy who's listen. I think Miami wins this football game. I have no reason to be confident in the way this is going right now. I want to be wrong, but I got Miami winning this game like 33-20, 24. No, I'm not even giving that much credit. 33-20.
Well, that's a major issue.
It is an issue.
Oh, I need to get some money back. I need a return. Rent's due. I ain't playing, man. I ain't playing. You don't play. You don't have one great year and get passes the rest of your goddamn life. Shit, I was hard on Bryce Harper, so I ain't gonna be hard on Jalen Hurts. I'm equal opportunity hard on guys. I'm hard on my son Joel Embiid for never being healthy in the biggest moments. All right, ain't nobody get a pass around here. That's not how we operate. We don't gotta be yelling and screaming and benching guys, but we gotta call it how it is. So many fanboys. I'm tired of fanboy poster bullshit. Take it down. You can love a guy and say honestly and openly, that ain't good enough. What's wrong with that? I don't understand. Why they become a hater? I'm here to win freaking Super Bowls. I'm here just to get there. I ain't here to just be good. I didn't open a checkbook for $255 million just to be good. I opened it to win. To win. Shit, people cool with 12 and 5. Like, a cool story, right? That's awesome. I'm never going to be against winning. But the ultimate goal isn't getting back to a Super Bowl. The ultimate goal isn't getting to an NFC title game. The ultimate goal is getting to Broad Street. And anything else is a failure now. The failure. You had your cute run. You had the cute run. The cute story. Not expected to be. You had it. Now you set a fucking standard. I didn't set the standard. I didn't go. I didn't have a top three MVP conversation. I didn't do it. This team and he did it. I don't care about Super Bowl hangover shit. I don't care. Right? You set a damn standard of getting somewhere. You need to get back then. And you need to not only get back, you need to win the whole damn thing. And you better do it soon. Why this roster is as loaded as it is. That's the facts. So what happens, Bill, anybody else, right, that was against me the other night, what happens when you don't have elite players around?
Like next year.
So, God damn it, time is now to win. The time is not 2 years from now. Time's not 3 years from now. The time to win is now. So, if you don't want broad shit, you want to be a fanboy, then fanboy it up. Fanboy the shit up. I'm going to be hard on cats, especially guys that I know are hard on themselves. That's why I ain't betting against the kid. Never bet against him anymore. But I will call out shit play. That is a rookie freaking mistake. You got to know internally that's either take the sack or throw it away. And with the clock, you take the sack. You ran around all day. Now you don't want to leave the pocket. Now you want to make a timing throw on 3rd and 8? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Moments he's shown us last year. Moments. Consistency has not been there. And Donovan McNabb should shut his mouth too. And I love 5. All right, knock it off. Right? Okay, now the offense is catered to AJ. No, the offense should be catered to AJ. Just to break the news to you. All right? It's the freaking biggest specimen on the field. Yeah, I want to get him the ball. I want to get him the fucking ball. What are we talking about? I want to get him the ball. Why would I not want to get him the ball? Why would I not want to get him the ball? He's not acting up. Can we stop comparing it? He ain't acting up. He ain't doing push-ups in the fucking driveway. Damn it. They're freaking best friends. Shit. You ever play competitive sports, Don? Did you forget? I know you ran from it. You pussed around that situation. So don't start now. Don't start talking about the similarities. Shut up. And I love you, 5, but shut the hell up.
I love 5 too, but he can't help himself these days.
You comparing 2 best friends to 2 guys who couldn't coexist with each other. Can we stop?
Greg
going to replay the video of him signing here and calling Jalen.
Greg will get the reference.
He's the godfather of AJ's daughter. Are we okay? Are we okay? Like, we're all close. I'll go right at you if we were playing sports together. You kidding me? If I'm open, you ain't getting me the ball, I'm letting you know. What am I supposed to do? Not let you know?
And if you don't catch it, I'm letting you know.
His fucking Twitter handle is always open. And
he is.
No, I don't know. He is always open. He catches passes that should never be caught. Right? So at the end of the day, I'm trying to get my doggy to football. Shit. As soon as Jamar Chase, who's boys with Joe Burrow, says, I'm always open in the locker room, guess who got the ball the next week? And guess who should get the ball? Damn, I want to get the ball. I want to get the ball in my best player's hands all day. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
morons. Diggs and Josh Allen and Diggs went at each other. This is what happens. This ain't patty cake. Yeah. If I'm not happy about something, then I can be a man and express it to another man. And Jalen can handle it. Jalen ain't no. Them from Jalen and Donovan. Jalen ain't passive aggressive, right? He ain't passive aggressive about shit. Donovan was passive aggressive in those years when it came to TO. So can we stop? You guys weren't like this. You were never like this.
Greg, you'll get the reference, but Donovan's become like the Bret Hart of Eagles football now, where he's old, he's bitter, and he just can't help himself and has to make the comment.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's literally what he's become. And I love him. Number 5, I'll always love you. But damn, I'm at the point now where I don't need his 2 cents on anything. It just comes off very agenda driven.
Yeah, sit it out. So, Greg, what was your score?
33-27.
33-27.
Eagles.
Wow.
Right. Real quick,
I thought
again, the NFL's a week. The NFL's a week-to-week league. I love the fact that Miami put up 40 points, and I love the fact that we got embarrassed. Right?
Yeah,
I think that message and Miami. The line tells you everything you need to know. Eagles minus 2.5. Line tells you everything you need to know.
I hope you guys are right, because that's what I want to say.
Oh yeah, of course. I know you like Miami a little bit, and so do I. You know what I mean? I'm obviously my boy's a Dolphins fan, so and they're in the AFC, and I like what they have.
Super Bowl matchup.
I like who they have. I'm a Tua guy. I like Tua. I think Tua is a great kid, so I've always liked Tua. You know what I mean? I root for Tua to be successful because of the type of kid he is. But I look at this for Jalen as revenge tour, baby. Go take what's yours.
You took my job.
You took my job. I'm gonna go beat you on Sunday Night Football. So, listen, boys. Let's have a great week here. All right, let's get through this series in the NLCS. Let's go start dancing on our own soon, and let's get to the World Series. Right, not easy to get back. Right, not easy to get back. Okay, I'll leave my thoughts on this, and then you guys can have the closing thoughts if you have them. I just told you about it's Broad Street or bust for the Eagles. Phillies aren't as odd to that. You know what I mean? Like I love this run, but you're built to win, babe. You ain't built just to get there. You're built to win. So all the love affair that we're having right now, I'll be honest with you. You don't win it, I'm gonna smoke cats. So I'll be coming around people's throats. You ain't built just to get there. Those stories are cute. You're remembered for winning. Your legacy is winning. That's all. Which I think they're going to, but I'm equal opportunity. I'm trying to prove it to people.
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way for the Phillies. There's a vibe. There's a thing with this team, and I do think the difference is right. Last year, I think we all kind of felt like Houston was the favorite to win of the teams anyway. It wasn't a surprise, and particularly the first time kind of going around with the Phillies scuffling to get in, and then finally, doing their thing and getting in, and then getting hot playoff time. This year, it's okay. We kind of understand that this team is more built for this time of year. So, and now they're kind of proving that even more so over the wild card series in the NLDS and now the NLCS. So this is the time now. You look up and down the roster. You look at this pitching staff, the way they're pitching, and you look at, honestly, if you look at the back end of the bullpen, top to bottom, and even the manager right now and the way they're managing games. To me, it's check, Phillies box. And this is the year. They are the favorites to win the World Series. Vegas has it absolutely right now, and I think they need to go and get it done. I agree with you.
I'll say this real quick to Bill. Like, the schedule's hard for sure, right? But, like, 3-3 means we're not a Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean? Like, we should be able to go 4-2 in that stretch if we're as good as we think we are. Doesn't mean you don't lose 2 games. Of course you do. But we should beat the Commanders. Okay, we should beat the Cowboys. Right? I mean, there's games you should win. Kansas City isn't playing at a high level, even though they're winning. That's a game in KC, probably a tough one. But then you got the Bills at home. You got the Niners at home. You got the Cowboys in Dallas at, right? So that stretch, right? I mean, you got Cowboys at home, Commanders, Dolphins at home. You got the Bills at home. You got the Niners at home. So if this is a Super Bowl caliber team, that's 4-2. So I don't give a shit about the Jets loss.
You should have 4 wins in those 5 home games.
That's where my head went, right, Greg? Yeah. Like I don't want to hear no excuses now. I don't care how good teams are playing. We're supposed to be that good.
Yeah.
If you're that good, you win games.
No doubt.
So not saying you're wrong, Bill. Like, not saying it can't be 3-3, but that's unacceptable to me. You know what I mean? That's unacceptable. Then you're not a Super Bowl caliber football team then. Like 4-2 is just so, you guys, right? It just smells better.
For sure.
Right. It is not like she's the tough one, right? Obviously in Kansas City, but that's a winnable game. Like, that's not winnable. Like, we act like we're a 2-win team. Like, Dolphins are coming here, babe. Sunday Night Football, are you kidding me? You better win this goddamn game. You'll be here for me all damn week. Go be great. All right. Anything else, boys?
Good.
Yeah, I got something real quick. I'm enjoying this run our Phils are on. It's time to take it to the finish line. All right, there's no point in starting a race if you're going to stop and not get to the finish line. So hopefully our bats can keep doing what they're doing. And I think as long as Wheeler and Nola keep dealing and that bullpen keeps getting critical outs, I love our chances to hoist the trophy in a few weeks. As far as the Birds go, there are no excuses, fellas. Let's get it done. Anything less than hoisting the Lombardi in Vegas is unacceptable. This team is too talented. And as far as this week goes against Miami specifically, Look, you're at home, Sunday night football. Take care of the football. Take care of your business. Let's score in the red zone, and let's bring home a win.
Let's go. Great show, boys. It's been A2D Wednesday nights. Only on
Tom, let me
A2D
add this
Radio.
in real quick. Mondays are basically like our baseball days. We obviously do with Mitch. And I just want to tell people, too, if you haven't checked out the Sports Hounds, they have a show right now, and just reminded me that FS1, talking about the 04 Red Sox. Doug Milakovic, who was on that Red Sox team, been doing live reactions with Rob Brinkman and Brad Ryer. And, man, they talk about some good stuff, and he tells some really great stories on there. So get on there Monday nights, make it a baseball day, and check us out with Here's the Thing, and then go on nighttime and check out those guys with Doug Milakovic.
Yeah, you get Doug Milakovic and Mitch Williams in one day. That's a great baseball day.
It is.
We love you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Go Phils, go Eagles. And agree, disagree, we'll probably be on for the game. At least halftime on reactions. So, I mean, it's the only thing to do. So, hopefully for a win. For No Eating, Chrome, Greg, I'm Tom. We love you. We out.